Have you been contemplating new construction, of building your home from the ground up on a site kind of like this, where you can pick your lot, pick your floor plan, and design the home of your dreams? Well, there's just a few things that I want to make sure that you're aware of. Buyer beware when it comes to new construction, particularly here in Northeast Florida, and some things that are maybe specific to our area that you should know of before you dive in. Now, these are insider tips, so you want to be sure that you watch all the way to the end. And if you find this information helpful, please be sure to push like and subscribe, and we're going to jump right into it to make sure you have all the information you need to make an informed decision. So stay tuned, guys. Make sure that you have everything that you need so you don't end up losing money, time, resources, and much more. So let's dive into the first thing, starting with escalation addendums. As you know, the market has been fluctuating so much when it comes to material costs. So some builders, 1 week, trusses may be an issue and it's costing them $18,000 more than it was the week before. So some builders have built in a clause to protect themselves called an escalation addendum, which basically allows them to escalate the price if need be to a certain extent and pass that money on to the buyer if they need to. So let's just say you went under contract to buy this beautiful home here, okay? And now ICI doesn't do escalation addendums. I'm just using this neighborhood for example of new construction. And let's just say you go under contract for $600,000, then they realize, oh my gosh, the trusses that we have ordered for them, they're going to be an extra $20,000 that we did not expect. Believe it or not, guys, it happens all the time. So some builders have it built in their contract that they come back to you for a portion of that $20,000 or all of that $20,000. The good thing about the escalation addendum, most builders have in their contract, if the house price escalates beyond what you're comfortable with, then you can cancel the contract and get your money back. But you just need to be aware of that. I've had situations when I was working for a builder that in 1 month, literally from 1 week to the other, the same house I sold for $400,000, the next week I had to sell it for $425,000, and that was just because lumber costs went up that much money. And the customer was like, oh, let me come back and think about it next week. And I had to tell them the price went up $20,000. I was like, sorry, it happens. All right, let's go to the next thing. So how not to lose your money when it comes to dealing with builders. So there's two main ways you can lose your money when it comes to dealing with new home construction builders here in Northeast Florida. Starting with not being prepared to close on time. So let's just say you're saying, oh, okay, well, I got time. You bought the house with the builder, you put the money down, and you waited to the last minute to say sell your house, but you were going to use the money from the sale of your house to buy this house. Like, let's just say you wanted to, right? And the builder's like, okay, we're 45 days from finishing your house. You know, your closing date is June 30th. And you're like, oh, wait, can we move it to July? Absolutely not. There's no moving. They have already set that date. Every day beyond that, they are accruing lots of money. That house is sitting on their books as completed and costing them a great deal of money. Okay, so remember, you're dealing with a corporation, a company that has a legal team that will make you shake in your boots if you are not in compliance. Okay, so you have to follow the compliance of that contract, which says once they give you notification of that closing date, you have to be prepared to close. Granted, you don't have to be here locally to close. We have mail-aways. We can send a notary to where you are, but you do need to be prepared. Don't be out of the country. Be in place so they can get someone to you, unless you are prepared to lose your money, incur a late fee, and potentially lose that house. Other ways that you can lose your money when it comes to builder is not performing according to contract, especially when it comes to financing and you're using the builder's finance. So let's just say you're using the builder's finance and it comes out that you have not been giving the loan officer the information they need to get you financed. Okay, so I've worked for builders before, and I've heard where customers aren't responding, they aren't getting the information, and the manager will make the decision to cancel that person's contract because they're not in performance with the contract, because they're building the house and they're all they ask you is to making sure you can show that you can pay for it. Both parties are obligated. They have the right to then cancel your contract, and some builders, even though most won't, they will cancel your contract, and some might keep your binder as well. So, and then they can resell your house for more. Don't give them a reason to do that, okay? Let's move into the next thing that you should be aware of. Now, local reputations does not always match national reputations and vice versa. So what does that mean? You want to go by the builder's local reputation, which is why it's important to use a knowledgeable local realtor that knows the builders, that know who is what is who has a good reputation for what, and etc. So what I mean by that, so I had a customer fly in. They were like, oh my gosh, I had this great experience with this national name that I'm not going to say. And they're like, Francis, take me to this builder. It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. I built a house with them in another state. Let's build it with them here. And we went to the model. From the time we called from email, they were not very professional, not very responsive, and they were not very nice to my customers when they walked in. In fact, the husband was like running out of the model, like he was like, let's go. And I was like, oh God, that did not go well. And they were so disheartened. Now, of course, I found them another builder that they are 100% satisfied with, that has been such a great experience. Remember, one door closes, the next door is open, guys. It was for a reason. And they are now 100% satisfied with the builder they have now, but they were still like, I can't believe it was such a drastic experience from one state to the other, from one division to the other. You want to go by that, the builder's division local reputation, okay? And I'll give you a flip side of that turned out good. One of my customers wanted to build in this community that their friend was in, right? And it's like, no, my friend is here, I want to stay in this community. And I was like, I don't know much about this particular builder, let me do a little research. And I went to the Better Business Bureau. Reviews nationwide was like so bad. It had like a red warning across the top, and I've never seen that before. I was like, oh, this may not be good. And so I was like, okay. And they were determined, like, no, my friend had a good experience, so it'll be fine. I was like, they were first time home buyer, and I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta protect them. So I went to the actual community, talked to customers that lived in that community, that built with that particular builder that they wanted to venture with, and everybody had nothing but good things to say. I talked to the actual super that was going to build their potential house, and they seemed very knowledgeable, like they knew what they were doing. They knew how to do a lot of the stuff that if tradesmen don't show up, which happens, guys, all the time. And so I was like, okay, this will probably be a good experience. And it turned out being great, good all the way through. I don't think we really even had any hiccups, which, you know, in a real estate transaction is a miracle that you don't have any hiccups. And I had another customer build with that particular builder. But if you look them up online right now, their name would be garbage nationwide, but here their division is strong, and actually the site people are good there. As far as the sales agents, they're really nice, wonderful people that are responsive. They always get back to me, and I've sold 2 homes with that particular builder now, and both customers are 100% satisfied. So moving forward, next thing to be aware of, our local builders here, when it comes to realtor representation, remember the builders are the one that pays us as the realtors out of their marketing budget to facilitate the transaction. So to bring you in that door, to be the procurement cause of the sale. Procurement is, okay, that's how you say it. Procurement, okay, you get it. To be the reason that you walk in the door, okay? And to get you to the closing table. They pay us out of their marketing budget, so it doesn't affect your price whether you use a realtor or not, because it's paid out of separate funds that they can write off their marketing expense as a write-off to the government. They need write-off, so they want something to write off, okay? So again, there's no cost to you, but the builders do require you that first visit to come with your realtor. So if you're driving by, you see a model, you're like, oh my gosh, honey, let's go in. Some builders, if you just say, I have a realtor, just walking through, etc. Some will not make a big deal, but most will require your realtor to be there for the first visit. I will tell you this in advance. I repeat, you do want a skilled realtor with you. You are engaging with a corporation, a conglomerate. So why I say that is they have a team of attorneys. You want to make sure you have a team of professionals helping you through this process. So with the realtor, you know, we come with a team of, say, inspectors, a team of lenders and other resources, vendors that you may need. Say you might need a contractor to do specialty work in your house, and you need recommendations on who can do the coating on your garage floor. That we come with all those resources, right, when you use a realtor. So with that being said, sometimes just having someone, an additional person there to catch things that you may not know with your eye, somebody that does this every day, is important. So for instance, I had a customer recently, their plan review came back, right? And we were reviewing the plans. They did all these customizations, et cetera, and there were some squiggly lines that just didn't look right on their plans. And I asked, I was like, what are those lines? And kind of find out they had wired one whole side of the house on one light switch, right? It was just the way the permits came back. And And they were like, oh, we need to change that. And they basically redid the wiring on the plan so the electric didn't all run on one switch for this one side of the house, right? Sometimes the customers can't be here for certain things or walkthroughs, etc., and they need additional support. You want to make sure that you have someone here to help you that also has a good relationship with the builders that can actually help leverage when you have needs or wants. So, thing that you need to be aware of: the starting price is not the price. So when you see those signs out there and they say starting at $600,000, right? That's not the price. That's a start. That's not including the dirt. That's not including the upgrades, structural changes, etc. You probably need to just go ahead and add another $100,000 to that, etc. So oftentimes people will walk into the model, they'll fall in love with the model, not even realizing that the model has over $200,000 worth of upgrades in the model, okay? Or sometimes builders will go to the extent of putting things in the model that they don't even offer. So they'll let some fancy designer from Europe come and design the model home and put things in there that they don't even offer just to make it look really good. So you want to make sure that if you fall in love with the builder based on the model, that you can actually get those things and then how much it's going to actually cost you. Sometimes it's better to move up to the next tier of builder. What that means is we have categories of builders, right? Not one is better than the other. It's just different categories based on your budget and based on your needs. So it may be a budget builder, right? Where they have laminate countertops, carpet throughout, etc. There's nothing wrong with laminate. No gourmet kitchen. You may get a basic stove, etc. But it's a budget-friendly builder. It gets you in your house. Perfect for first-time home buyers, retirees that just trying to take the equity out of their house. Excellent option. Middle tier builders. Then we have, say, luxury, and then we have custom, right? So let's just say you start like, look, for instance, my budget is, I'm on a budget. So we're gonna start at budget. And then you realize, oh gosh, it's laminate, but I really want a gourmet kitchen, but I really want this. It's sometimes better for you to just jump up to the next category, go to the middle tier, or middle tier to go to luxury, because you get more in their included features, their standard offering, you get more for less money. So you can jump up, say that $50,000, and instead of you having a house that's a la carte where you have to upgrade everything in the house and spend $100,000 in upgrades, you can move up to the next tier builder for $50,000 and get most of those things that you already want that's included in their standard offering. Something you need to be aware of: most builders here now are doing what we call inventory or spec homes, right? So they're not allowing you to make a bunch of like, where you pick the dirt. So this is the dirt, where you pick the lot. You can pick whatever floor plan, make whatever changes you want as far as move walls and stuff like that, and design it any way you want. You have to compromise or something on this market just because of supply shortages and delays that they're having. So now they're giving you the option of either a spec home where they picked out everything and you buy it as is, or what we say a pre-selected home where they picked the lot, they made the structural changes, maybe put a tray ceiling, maybe put a coffered ceiling here and there, 12-foot ceilings here and there, made it look all fancy for the structural, but you get to design the interior, okay? Some are doing that. If you're looking to do everything from the ground up, like I want the dirt, I want to pick my lot, I want to pick the structural changes and the interior, you're going to be looking at a minimum of a year or longer. Most are projecting like 14 months or more, okay, when it comes to if you want to do everything from the ground up, okay? So just keep that in mind. Now, this wraps up pretty much everything, guys, when it comes to what you need to be aware of when it comes to new construction here in Northeast Florida. This is Frances with Fine Homes by Frances, bringing you all the best at Northeast Florida, which includes Duval as well as St. Johns County, St. Augustine, all that. So be sure to watch the next video, and thank you guys for staying tuned.